Local nonprofit poured in hundreds of thousands of dollars into renovating apartments in Phoenix so that families struggling to make ends meet could move in.
They were supposed to get the keys in just a few weeks, but that's no longer happening after a string of burglaries left those units in shambles. Casey Torres gives us a look at the damage.
This apartment was supposed to be a family's new home soon, but now the floor is covered with insulation falling from that hole in the ceiling. I'm told this is the work of burglars who got into the attic of a couple of fourplexes to steal copper and left behind a lot of damage.
Every time I walk back into these units, it's just surreal that anybody would come in and do this to someone else. And that's exactly what they were doing. They were damaging someone else's home.
Nancy Marion is in disbelief that someone flat out ignored these no trespassing signs posted up outside 3 fourplexes in the Garfield district in downtown Phoenix and broke in earlier this month.
I'm not sure what kind of a mind would do that. What kind of a void of character would allow you to make that kind of damage?
She says burglars got into the laundry room, went up into the attic where they clipped copper wires, causing holes in the ceiling and gutted the walls. It doesn't stop there. We're told they tore apart brand new AC units and took a couple of electrical boxes.
They needed a couple $300. But they left in their wake hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
They didn't hit the units just once, but 3 times, even after a 24/7 security camera was set up in the parking lot. What hurts Marion the most is that these apartments were being renovated to become homes for families struggling to make ends meet. She says it took her nonprofit, Community Housing Partnership, 2 years to secure federal grant money. They paired it with their own budget to start the facelift in the beginning of the year.
So we want them to get into a point that when you open the unit, you're proud that you live there.
She isn't sure how much insurance will cover, but this is only a setback, not the end. So Marion plans to find a way to get families in these homes soon.
No nonprofit will be stopped by something like this because we care about the people that we serve.
If you have any information about the burglaries, call police or the number on the bottom of your screen. It's a new tip line number for the nonprofit trying to get to the bottom of all this. Reporting in Phoenix, Casey Torres, Arizona's Family.
Thank you, Casey.